Midnight Roses, a romantic horror thriller of obsession and shadows. The stranger at Moonfall Inn. When Bernice Devon arrived in Savannah, she only meant to stay a week. She needed a break from the city, from her past, and most of all, from the nightmares that hadn't stopped since her fiancé disappeared without a trace 1 year ago. Moonfall Inn welcomed her with the smell of cedar wood, old books, and a strange hush that settled over everything. The inn sat on the edge of Bonaventure Cemetery, hidden behind wrought iron gates, its windows like hollow eyes. The owner, a reclusive man named Samuel Corvin, rarely spoke, but his eyes, sunken and dark, never stopped watching. Then came the stranger, tall with ink-dark hair, a scar running across his temple, and a voice that curled around her name like smoke. Valen Cross. He claimed he was a writer. He claimed he was passing through. He lied. Valen seemed to know more about Bernice than he should, her favorite flower, the lullaby her mother used to sing, the words Rowan whispered the night before he vanished. It was impossible, it was terrifying, and it was just the beginning. The roses began appearing on her windowsill, always at midnight, always 12 of them, and always accompanied by a whisper, soft like a sigh. The first night she thought she imagined it, the second she was certain someone had broken in. But the windows were locked, the doors untouched, and yet the scent lingered on her pillow. Then the dream started. Her fiancé, Rowan Blake, called to her from a hallway lined with mirrors that bled shadows. His eyes pleaded, his voice cracked, and behind him a tall figure, cloaked in darkness, stood silently, holding a single red rose. Bernice awoke with scratches on her arms. Once she found a thorn in her bedsheet. Was she sleepwalking, or was something walking with her? Valen warned her not to trust her memories. He spoke of a curse that haunted lovers, one that fed on desire and consumed the soul. He called it the Hollowed One, a spirit that wore the faces of the dead to lure the living, and he said it wanted her. The letter arrived without a stamp. Inside was a photo of Rowan standing outside the cemetery gates. The date was yesterday. Bernice tore through Savannah in search of him. No one had seen him, but the scent of roses followed her. Valen followed too, always in the shadows, always a step too close. She found a journal beneath the floorboards of the inn's library, a mix of Rowan's handwriting and another's, someone who wrote in blood-red ink and spoke of binding hearts with shadow. The final entry read, "To love her, I must become more than a man. I must become the hollow." The cemetery bloomed with roses that shouldn't grow in winter. Bernice followed their trail to a crypt that had no name. Inside, she found a mirror, and in it, her reflection stared back with eyes that weren't her own. She met Marceline, an old woman with clouded eyes and fingers like branches. She lived near the cemetery's edge and spoke of Roland's fate. He had made a bargain. He had begged the Hollowed One for eternal love. He had been claimed, and now it wanted her too. Valen, too, was cursed. He had once made the same bargain. He wandered half shadow, half man, seeking to break his fate, or to pass it on. "I can save you," he whispered. But the way he looked at her said he might not let her go. Beneath Moonfall Inn was a room that didn't exist on any floor plan. Bernice found it behind a bookshelf sealed with wax and marked with runes. The walls were lined with mirrors, the floor a mosaic of roses and skulls. Valen showed her a ritual. "It can sever the bond, but it comes with a price," he said. "Whose price?" He didn't answer. They grew closer. The tension shifted into something sharp and warm. When he touched her, it felt like drowning. When he kissed her, it felt like fire. But was it real? Or was she becoming like him? The roses bloomed in the courtyard, roses that bled. Bernice touched a petal and it screamed. She saw Rowan again, this time in the mirror behind her. He reached through, fingers stretching from shadow, his face a mask of sorrow. "Let me in," he begged. "I can't," she said. He shattered. That night Valen held her, and in the dark he whispered, "He's not the only one who's loved you." Bernice began to forget. Her reflection blurred. Her voice echoed without her. The curse was sinking in. Marceline offered her a vial of black liquid. To see clearly, one must first see the truth. She drank it and remembered everything. Rowan's screams, the ritual, her promise. She had been there the night it began. She had helped summon the Hollowed One to save him. Bernice walked through the final mirror. The Hollowed One waited. It wore Rowan's face, Valen's voice, her own smile. It offered her eternity. She said no. Valen appeared, bleeding shadow. "You have to choose." She kissed him, poured every truth, every lie, every ache into that moment, and it shattered the hollow. The mirrors cracked, the roses burned. She woke in the inn. No roses, no whispers, no dreams. Valen was gone, Rowan was gone. But the curse had lifted. On her pillow a single rose, wrapped in black silk. Midnight roses. Years later, Bernice runs the Moonfall Inn. Tourists come and go, but every night she lights a candle at midnight, and sometimes, just sometimes, a single rose appears on her pillow. She smiles. Because even in darkness, love finds a way back, even if it's terrifying, even if it never dies. Whispers Beneath the Walls, a dark romantic horror thriller. Ariel was fleeing sorrow. The music ceased after the accident. Her cello remained in its case like a coffin. Her fingers had not stroked the strings since the day her fiancé, Caleb, drove off the overpass and into the icy Detroit River. Ashmere was a bargain, just on the up and up and ideal. The landlord, his eyes milky with cataracts, delivered the keys in shaking hands and murmured, "Don't listen too closely." The first night was silent. The second came the lullaby. It crooned through her vents in a voice she hadn't heard in years, her mother who'd disappeared when she was 12. "Sleep now, child, no need to weep. In your walls the secrets keep." She didn't sleep. Her neighbor, whose hands were painted, appeared at 3 a.m., banging on her door. "You hear them too," Damien said. His eyes shone feverishly, his apartment filled with canvases of eyes, watching eyes, crying eyes, bleeding eyes. He hadn't left Ashmere in over a year. It chooses people, artists, lovers, people broken enough to feed it. Ariel attempted to close the door, but the walls creaked around them. "It already likes you." She found Caleb's faded sweater in her closet. The one buried with him, it had a smoky river water smell, and as she was drifting off, she could feel his arms around her. The lullaby was different that night. "Come to me, my love, my bride. Drown the past and stay inside." The mirror fogged, though the air was cold, a message in condensation. "I never left." Damien painted her, without asking, without even looking at her face. It was ideal. He told me Ashmere showed him things, that the building had a soul, one that was forged in heartbreak, murder, and ritual. It fed on love, turned sour. "You were brought here," he said. "Caleb didn't die. He was taken. Just like my sister, just like your mother." He kissed her in the hallway, desperate and shaking. Ariel felt something was watching them, and it wasn't jealous. It was hungry. There was no apartment 1C. However, Ariel discovered a door at the back of the laundry room. Inside, a staircase twisting down into the gloom. She trailed behind it. Candle flames danced over the concrete. Walls murmured with each footstep. She found portraits of the missing. Her mother, Caleb, Damien's sister, all smiling, all painted in blood, and behind glass there was an altar of broken instruments. Her cello was in the center, her strings were newly tuned. Damien was honest with her. He struck a bargain, to look behind the curtain, to locate his sister. In exchange, he offered Ashmere what it desired: art, blood, love. He hadn't painted out of obsession. He painted to bind her. "We can destroy it," he said, "but we have to give it one last performance." The building vibrated with laughter. Ariel kissed him, and Caleb's scream was heard from within the walls. They chose the time, full moon. Damien would paint, Ariel would play. A concert for the dead. The air turned thick with roses and rot. Tenants vanished. The halls grew longer. Time bled. Ariel played the cello, bow trembling. Her mother's face appeared briefly in the audience. Caleb sat beside her, bleeding from the eyes. The walls opened. Ashmere revealed its heart. They stepped into the secret room together, a throbbing red room, alive, breathing. The structure was erected on bones, on betrayal. Each tenant had fed it, each gesture of love mixed with fear. Damien carved a sigil into his chest. Ariel filled the space with music. The entity screamed, the walls cracked, but it wasn't enough. Ashmere required a sacrifice. Damien approached her, bleeding, with a smile. It's always been me, but it requires you to decide. Ariel saw her mother, her fiancé, the life she could have had. She cradled Damien's face. I choose no one. She drove her bow into the altar. The music screamed, the building trembled. Ashmere collapsed in fire and song. She emerged out of the wreckage, no bodies, no walls, nothing but ash and a single untuned cello. Ariel departed Detroit, and from time to time, in a new city, in a new room, she hears a lullaby. Sleep now, child. And she wonders, did she ever depart? Crimson Hunger, the devil who loved me. Rain pounded against the windows of the small downtown Chicago bar where Ava tended bar. It was near midnight, and the bar was almost empty. And then he came in. Lucian Morvain, a tall, black-suited figure, umbrella bone dry amidst the storm. He moved with a purposeful shadow. Every woman glanced back, every man bristled. He ordered red wine, the darkest you have, and left her a $100 bill with a handwritten poem. When the sun has forgotten its name and shadows can sing, look to me, my love, for I am the end of everything. Lucian returned every night. He didn't flirt, he watched. He recited poetry in a voice that made Ava's bones ache. She dreamed of him, of his hands, of a hunger she couldn't name. He never touched her until he did. A fingertip grazed her wrist. Ice, fire. Her heart thudded. His lips twisted in a mix of lust and pity. You have no idea what you're inviting, he whispered. Lucian asked her out to dinner. His home was a cathedral of darkness, gothic arches, candlelight, stone and velvet. The mirrors were draped in black silk. The windows were never opened. His staff moved like ghosts, pale, silent. Why do you live like this, she said, since I recall all that I've done, and mirrors never lie. She chanced upon a locked room while he was away. There were portraits on the walls, hundreds of them, women in gowns, smiling, bleeding. Every face was hers, some older, some younger, some centuries out of date. She stepped back. A violin started playing on its own in the corner. Lucian stood behind her. I painted them all, he said, and I loved every version of you. Their initial kiss was urgent. He kissed her as if he was famished. His lips were tight, his breath was cold, and when his teeth grazed her lip, she bled. Lucian froze. He then moaned. He drank the drop of blood as though it were sacred. I swore I wouldn't, he whispered. But you taste like the sun, I forgot. Ava did follow him one night to an abandoned cathedral underground. She watched, concealed in the darkness, as Lucian loomed over a naked woman tied to an altar. He whispered Latin, kissed her neck, sank his teeth into her. She did not shriek. She laughed. She smiled when she passed away. And Lucian appeared younger, more alive, radiant. She confronted him. You kill them, you drink them. He nodded. I only take what is freely offered, and they all gave it, like you will. He revealed himself to her. Red eyes, pulsing veins, a monster carved from ancient sin. But Ava could not help shaking, because she still desired him. She woke up with a mark on her chest, a sigil seared into her flesh, a mark of binding. She began to desire red meat, hating sunlight, dreaming of fire and stone. Lucian was now within her, body, mind, soul. You're becoming, Ava, he told her. In time, you'll hunger too. He presented her with another option. Drink, be like me, or die. Yet the ritual required sacrifice. She had to kill someone she loved, offer their heart in a velvet box. Ava's mind drifted to her sister, her best friend, her history. I'll never be like you, she told him. He just smiled. You already are. Ava didn't run. She dressed in black for the ceremony, thorns for a crown, the blood moon hanging over them. Lucian held out a blood chalice. His followers knelt. Drink, he said. She grasped the chalice. She brought it to her lips, then she cut her own wrist and allowed her blood to drip into the flames. No crown, no master, no hunger. The fire screamed. Lucian howled while he was burning. Yet in the ashes, his eyes looked at her, still in love, still hungry, the devil's bride. Ava left Chicago, yet each mirror images her in black. Each full moon bleeds her lips, and sometimes she feels Lucian whispering in her ear, "Drink, my darling. I'm not finished with you yet."